Tensions are rising over at state capitol between the governor and leaders of the House and Senate. So here to talk a little bit more about that is Alana Rocha with the Texas Tribune. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. It was an interesting day as the Tribune is talking about how Lieutenant Governor Patrick and Governor Greg Abbott got into what is described as a heated discussion, right, at one of their leadership breakfast meetings. What was it about, and walk us through how that discussion went?
Yeah, well, it was a weekly leadership meeting among Patrick, House Speaker Joe Strauss, and Governor Abbott. And it came a day after Abbott's Grassroots Advisory Council that he appointed earlier in the session, kind of unprecedented, issued a letter on Tuesday calling Abbott's pre-K plan that's advancing in the legislative process a threat to parental rights. Goes on to say it creates a godless environment, pulling kids out of homes and half-day religious pre-K programs, and says it doesn't see a long-term benefit past first grade. Obviously, the day after at breakfast, that created tension, and one source in the story, I believe, is quoted as saying, if people were wondering where Abbott's been during this legislative session, he's arrived.
He's not taking any punches when it comes to talking about this, because he campaigned about pre-K, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was one of his, I believe, his top legislative priorities that he outlined in his inaugural address and State of the State. So obviously he's not taking it lightly, and reports say that he told the lieutenant governor not to hold up the legislation in the Senate, waiting for the House to pass some of Patrick's key bills as far as school choice, school vouchers.
And what did Patrick say to that? Do we know?
Well, he said he's frustrated, expressed further frustration. He said he didn't know about the letter and that it was unsolicited, but he also said that he's frustrated just that the Senate sent more than 300 bills over to the House, and only a fraction of those have been referred to committees.
And Alana, just for our viewers wondering at home, walk us through what this pre-K bill actually does, because it's already passed in one form.
Right, in one form. It would appropriate about $130 million, and that money would be used and go to school districts that implement certain programs for their pre-K to enhance quality.
Okay, the other topic that is controversial as well is the ban on same-sex marriage, even though it's already banned here in Texas. What is another step that's being taken to further that?
Well, the first same-sex marriage bill cleared a House committee this week, and that bill would say that no local funds or state funds could be used to issue a same-sex marriage license. You remember back in February, just here in Travis County, the clerk did just that at a judge's order and put a lot of Republicans mainly in an uproar, given our constitutional ban on same-sex marriage here in the state.
What is the intent, though, of that kind of bill? What would that mean?
Well, it just would mean it would further outline that, a judge's, a lot of them called the judge's order a political move, and, legislating from the bench, and they want to put it in law that state funds and local funds can't be used to do just that.
Just a further stance on the overall ban on same-sex marriage, I guess, here in Texas.
Right, and it comes a week before the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, is set to hear oral arguments and challenges to same-sex marriage bans in 4 states.
Okay, so we have, 40 days left, right? About that?
Yeah, just about that. June 1st is sine die.
June 1st, and it's already getting heated, even more so with the tension that we're seeing at the top.
Absolutely. Everybody's looking at the calendar, knowing that things need to
get going.
Need time.
Yep.
So.
All right, Alana Rocha with the Texas Tribune. We appreciate your analysis, and we'll talk to you hopefully again next week to see what else is brewing over at the Capitol.
I'm sure there'll be something.
I'm sure there'll be lots to talk about.